Most of us think of honoring our ancestors as this beautiful, really important act of love, right? But what if I told you that the way we're doing it could be not just wrong, but spiritually dangerous? Today, we're going to dive into a teaching that really turns this whole tradition on its head.
I mean, it's a tradition that's all about love and respect. We do it to say thank you and to wish them peace wherever they are. It just feels like the right, most caring thing you can possibly do.
But here's the challenging idea we're exploring today. What if our good intentions just aren't enough? What if the way we do these memorials can actually open a door to spiritual trouble in our own lives?
To really get our heads around this, we're going to walk through it step by step. We'll look at the true mission of spiritual practice, the hidden dangers in these rituals, what it means to become a spiritual lighthouse, and of course, the right way to help. And then we'll wrap up with what this all teaches us about life, death, and just letting go.
Okay, so to figure out where ancestor memorials fit, the teaching says we first have to get our priorities straight. We need to understand what the real mission is. And honestly, its number one priority might not be what you think.
Get this, according to this perspective, over 90% of our spiritual energy should be aimed at the here and now. The main goal isn't actually about the departed, it's about bringing truth and light to people who are alive, right now. It's about helping them find happiness and change their lives for the better.
So, where do the memorials come in? Well, they're seen as a secondary thing, a compassionate effort, for sure, but it's for those who couldn't be reached with these spiritual truths while they were still alive. It's important, yeah, but it's not the main event.
And it's right here, in this secondary practice, that the danger creeps in. Because if our heart isn't in the right place, the connection we make isn't one of help. It's one that can cause real harm.
The teaching breaks it down into two totally different mindsets. On one side, you have giving love. This is a pure, selfless wish for your ancestor to grow spiritually. On the other side, though, you've got stealing love, and this is when you turn the ritual into a transaction, asking the dead to fix your career or your love life. One is a gift, the other is a demand. Now, this stealing love attitude is said to kick off a really negative cycle. It starts with your selfish prayer. That energy then connects with ancestors who are also kind of lost and still attached to worldly things. They see it as an invitation to cling to you, which lets them avoid their own spiritual work. And the result? Your problems don't get better. In fact, they can get way worse because of this unhealthy spiritual baggage.
And in the most extreme situations, the teaching claims that a frustrated, clinging ancestor might even lash out at their own family. The consequences can be absolutely dire, as this quote makes chillingly clear.
Okay, so if doing this the wrong way is so dangerous, how can we make sure we get it right? Well, the teaching says the answer isn't to focus on our ancestors first, it's to focus on ourselves.
The teaching uses this really powerful metaphor to explain it. You just can't guide a lost ship through a dark, stormy sea if you're not a lighthouse yourself. To help anyone, living or dead, you have to build up your own spiritual light first.
So, how do you build this lighthouse? It's not some big mystery. The path laid out is all about studying spiritual truths, learning with other people, and having a consistent personal practice. It's a process of turning yourself into a source of light, not just for you, but for everyone around you. So, once you've started to build up that inner light, how do you actually share it in a way that's safe and really helps? This brings us to the correct way to do these memorials.
The teaching is super clear about this. It strongly warns against doing these rituals all by yourself at home, especially if you're new to this. A single person's light might just not be strong enough, and that's when you run the risk of that negative connection we talked about. A group ritual, on the other hand, creates this powerful collective field of protection.
So why is it so much safer? Well, a couple of reasons. First, you're literally shielded by the combined light of everyone in the group. But also, these formal services are said to be guided by higher beings, maybe angels. They can see what's really going on, identify an ancestor who is clinging, and step in with an authority that a lost spirit just has to respect.
All of this really practical advice actually points to a much deeper philosophical question, which is, why do ancestors get stuck in the first place?
At the heart of it, the fundamental problem is attachment. It's an inability to let go, of family, of old grudges, of the life they used to know. This is what keeps the spirit anchored to the past and stops them from moving on. And a selfish prayer from us just makes that anchor heavier.
You know, this whole idea of letting go has a really cool parallel in our modern world. Think about it.
Society and knowledge move so fast that the world our great-grandparents lived in is almost unrecognizable today. Each generation, with new education and technology, builds on and then surpasses the one before it.
And this leads to a total reframing of what it means to get older or feel outdated. It's not a personal failure at all. It's a sign of collective success. The fact that your kids know more than you is proof that society is healthy and moving forward. It's actually something to celebrate.
There's a beautiful name for this mindset, the beauty of fading. It's the wisdom to accept the natural flow of things, to find grace in stepping aside and letting the next generation take the lead. It's like being an autumn leaf that falls to nourish the soil for the new trees. It's the ultimate act of letting go.
And that really brings us to our final thought for today. The struggle of an ancestor who's attached to their past is kind of a mirror for our own lives. It makes us ask ourselves, what old ideas or old habits or old hurts are we still clinging to that are holding us back from our own progress? What do we need to let go of to truly move forward?